other members of the ETNA Consortium. So the purpose of this meeting is to give you just some brief information about the outcomes of the review and the next steps that are planned this year, so we are prepared for that. You already received a copy of the official report of the review. You have seen that is very positive. I will just pick up some points and expand a little bit on that. The overall decision is to allow the project to continue with minor modification, and this is the most important news, especially for the project coordinator. That means not having a lot of paperwork to do after the review. And there was also special appreciations of two. I try to adjust my microphone. Just a moment, please. Okay. Okay, can you hear better my voice now? I hope so. Okay, and especially there was an appreciation by the reviewer of three things. One is the way the project has been managed. I'm very happy of that. About the quality of deliverables, and also about the handling of the change from the ontological to the taxonomical approach we had in Work Package 4 and Work Package 5. So I was a little bit worried that this would raise negative comments in the reviewers, but it was exactly the opposite. They appreciated that we found this solution that is better for the ETNA system. Well, now what were the main recommendations? The first recommendation is that the validation plan should be published. We have a deadline, May 31. We know that the validation plan is already being implemented because, as you know, Jean has organized the validation, but we just need to have this plan published on paper by May 31. Then they recommended that we have a plan for feeding the validation results into the web portal design. And okay, this is the plan that we have in mind, is not having to do with any deliverable, it's just to demonstrate at the end of the project that we have kept into account the validation results. Then we have the recommendation to develop a post-project sustainability plan that for us indeed is the planned deliverable D1.9, that is the exploitation plan that is due at the end of June. Then there was a recommendation to be very proactive in dissemination, and that dissemination should be carefully monitored. And as you know, Sabrina is taking care of that. And then there is the most sensible point, that is the recommendation to have a decision, a written decision about the relationship between ETNA and That Is For All. The decision may be about integrating the two portals into a single portal, or could be two separate portals that coexist in a, let's say, in synergic way. So the reviewer has no preference towards integration or towards coexisting. They only want that we take a decision on that. Then there were also minor recommendations, but these were the most important ones. So move to the second slide. So what are the next steps that we had already in mind, but they've been confirmed after the review? So we have some technical work, a lot of technical work. By the end of June, we are going to produce the second release of the ETNA portal. What is the difference between the first and the second release? The second release is going to include the providers type A. So we have to plug in all the providers that we have called the type A, those who communicate through web services in automatic way. Then we plan to have some more development at the end of August. That means also to have completed the advanced search functionality. That it means searching in the detailed data set. And also, if there are some recommendations coming from the validation, we try to make a first implementation. Why August 31? Because then at the mid-September we have the AAAT conference, and we want to be ready to demonstrate all this facility. Then at the end of September we plan to develop the taxonomy management tool. This is important, but it's just an administrative tool for the portal. And we plan to achieve the final portal of ETNA at the end of the year, and in this case also uptaking all refinements suggested from the validation. When we speak about the ETNA final release, we mean a release that is ready to be uptaken later on by the ETNA association. So this is the technical work. Now, the contents and dissemination work, we have the validation, that is the activity that is in progress now. Validation is of three things. One is about the search interface that is being carried out by 4 partners from Netherlands, UK, Spain, and Italy, IS from Italy. The other validation is about the upload tool, and this is for all partners. All partners should validate the upload tool, and many of them have already done it. And then we have also the validation of the detailed data set that it will be not formally part of the validation exercise. I thought that the best way to validate is just to make it with the providers type A, because are the entities that have experience with managing this kind of data. So the validation of the detailed data set will be not formally appearing in our deliverable. It will just be embedded in the system. Then another aspect of contents is the appointment of providers type B. Type B, remember, are those who upload information by means of the manual upload tool. So we have to identify who will be authorized to do that. Then we have to do dissemination activities. As you know from our deliverable dissemination strategy, each partner should be committed to organize at least one major event per country, plus other things if they can, and then other activities also at central level. Then we have to take the exploitation agreement to have a common view on how the results of the ETNA are going to be exploited, and also we need a position by the ETNA association, because if the ETNA association is going to take over the result of ETNA, of course the association has to agree on the principles. But we have already planned a restricted meeting of the ETNA association in London in June, so it's in good time before the production of the exploitation deliverable. And then we will have a major event at the end in September, that is our final workshop and the launch of the ETNA system in Portugal at the AAAT conference. So I think it's quite clear what we have to do, and for sure myself will chase all people who have to do the technical work and contents work. Sabrina will chase you about dissemination activities, and Jean about validation activities. Well, now, who will be the providers type A? So I think we can consider this list you see on the slide as the final list of providers type A. So providers type A will be all the eastern partners, and new partners that are not eastern partners, and these are basically four: the OEG from CERT Greece, the database from the CNR, ITD CNR in Italy, the OldSoft from Sweden, and also the able data from the United States. Non-eastern partners, they have to develop their web services in such a way they are compatible with the new taxonomy. Concerning the current eastern partners, they may decide if they want to stay with the new taxonomy or with the old taxonomy. It depends on how much work is for them to upgrade to the new taxonomy, but the system is flexible, can accommodate for both. I mean, those who communicate with the new taxonomy will make their data exposed to the advanced search, while the other will not. But I think but the bulk of information will still be visible from everybody. Okay, so it will be my colleague Valerio who will stay in touch with all these people in this list, and there is a lot of work in progress, a lot of this technical discussion in progress, and we think that probably it will be possible to have most of them plugged in for the second release of the ETNA, which means in end of June. The only partner that, the non-eastern partners that may join later could be probably able data, because they are in the process now of they've finishing the contract with the national authority, and they have to make the application for the next 4 years, and probably the application will be approved, but then they can start to make this work after summer. But we have good hope to have also the able data on board. So this was about the prospective providers type A. Concerning prospective providers type B. So, of course, we need a discussion with all the consortium, but the starting point of the discussion is that probably the most reasonable solution is that to give the status of providers B to each of the Eastern National Contact Organization. I mean, there are some countries where we have already providers type A, like Italy, UK, Denmark, and this, of course, will be the providers of information that will be providers type A. But in other country, for example, Slovakia, if we give the status of providers type B, they will have a tool for upload information of products that are not visible in the Eastern system because they are in no of the other databases. So the national contact will be able to upload it. So the idea, this is my proposal, that each national contact organization will have access to the upload tool and take responsibility for this data, and also probably we may also identify other partners that have, for some reasons, they have good data that could be useful to the network, and we can grant them the possibility to input the data. But of course, before giving this possibility, we have to define some rules to ensure that each of these persons put data of quality and takes responsibility for this data. We don't want anybody putting rubbish or old obsolete information in the system, or the people put information and then forgets and never maintains forever. So this discussion is in progress. I think there will be time in the next workshop in September to take also a final decision on that. Now, I have 3 slides left, and I want to speak a little bit about the most sensible point is about the integration or the coexistence of the two portals, ETNA and ETIS for all. As you know, the Commission wants that our two networks work as in a cluster work, and of course the vision on how this cluster will be implemented in practice has changed in the course of these 3 years. So what we have now indeed is that we have an ETNA portal and an ETIS for all portal. If we look at the ETNA portal, we have a number of strengths. The first strength is that we are based on we have a lot of contents because we exploit the asset of Eastin. So we have a lot of contents, so we have contents controlled in terms of quality. Then our contents covers the whole spectrum of assistive technology, so not only ICT, assistive technology, and this is good. And the system is fully multilingual for any European citizen. We know also what is going to happen after ETNA. The Eastin Association is going to inherit the results of ETNA. That means that the ETNA portal as such will disappear. And all the successful developments will be inherited by Eastin and so be maintained forever. The power of the Eastin Association is that it's self-supported by partners through a system of membership fees, and so each of the partners has a commitment in providing information at national level, so they have their own funding sources, so the contents is ensured. So there is no doubt that Eastin is a kind of ship that sails safely in the ocean, and it will go on sailing for long. So it's good if ETNA has produced some improvements that is useful for making the Eastin searches better, to improve coverage and so on. It's good if they are on the Eastin ship. Concerning ETIS for all, of course, I guess I make what I can understand. I think the main strength of ETIS for all, it is a community of users, of experts focused on ICT. So if users, developers and policymakers interested in ICT, assistive technology, they have a place where they can not only find information but also to discuss. Of course, we don't know what is going to happen after ETIS for all, because this is a discussion internal to the other consortium. We know that the expectation is that project leader TechnoSite is going to proceed, and the funding will be seems that will be mainly based on sponsors. But whatever the situation will be, is that ETNA and ETIS for all have two different exploitation strategies. The maintenance of ETNA, that is essentially is a search engine, is not very, is context driven, because it's an engine, automatic engine, and the contents will make it grow. And while ETIS for all, being a community, needs a kind of editorial work, because communities don't work if you don't have moderators and putting interesting information and so on. So it's difficult. This is the first point that would make a little bit difficult to think of a single portal. Well, it may happen that ETIS for all says we would like to be partner of Eastin in the future. I don't know, but we haven't kind of proposals like that until now. So I think that this is the first reason for going towards a coexistence rather than an integration. And the idea of coexistence could be summarized in this slide, that I tried already to anticipate in the last workshop in Milano. The idea is that on the ETNA side, we have the information network that will become ISTIN, will disappear as ETNA and will just become ISTIN. Of course, it will inherit all the facilities developed in ETNA, that is search, new search functionality, new kinds of associated information, projects, companies, service providers, and so on. And we may have a link. I try to put this arrow, okay, this arrow, to have a link to the community. And from this link, one could jump to the community of ICT, assistive technology, where there are all the forums, all the discussions, and so on. And if a person, conversely, is navigating in the ITs for All portal, when they make searches, they will be redirected to the ETNA search engine. So I know that when I made this proposal, the other consortium was a little bit, let's say, was not very keen, because their expectation were to have one portal with their design. I mean, but there are technical reasons, but also organizational reasons, but especially exploitation reasons for making this perspective really difficult so far. So I think this is the proposal I have now formally made to the ATIS for All Consortium. I'm waiting for their reaction. Maybe they may make another proposal, or just stay with our proposal and propose some refinements. Let's see what happens. So just to summarize and to conclude, this scenario could be of the two separate systems, with a link at the level of some pages, like in this slide. And the second way in which they are linked is the products rating and comments tool. This function is going to work starting from the ETNA side, because in the ETNA side you get a product. If this product is admitted to the possibility of a review, so the person can make the review, can log in into the ATIS for All community, fill the form, and then ETNA is able to read the comments and rating and present in the way we have organized. Of course, if you look at this slide, the user can be a little bit confused, because it jumps from the ETNA environment to the ATIS for All environment, which has another design. But our proposal is that maybe if ATIS for All accept to redesign this form according to the ETNA design, and accept also to make it multilingual, so the user really will not realize that their data are switching from one server to another. They will think they are in the same environment. Okay, that's the reason why we have sent to most of you in Excel, to some of you, an Excel file with this label of the rating form to be translated in your language, in order to provide it to the ATIS for All network, hoping they will accept to make the multilingual form. So I think this is the update. So now, if you have any questions, comment, criticism, remarks, or other contributions, you are welcome to do that. And especially I will ask if Jeanne, if she has some more information about the validation, or things she has to ask to the partners, can do it now. Thank you. It seems you are clapping hands, so it seems that you are happy.
Question by Lindsay. So if you want to use the microphone, Lindsay. To activate it, you just need to press the button with the microphone icon.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you well.
Oh, right. Okay, I just wanted to say I'm in favour of Renzo's proposition for the coexistence and the redesigning of the ATIS for All page. I think that would work very well. So I just wanted to support that suggestion.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, if I add this comment, I was a little bit worried when I was presenting this idea to the reviewers, and I was surprised that they said that is the most reasonable idea. And the reviewer, we had three persons. One was an expert in assistive technology, and the other two were expert in web design and information system. And people from the web design expertise, they say a person when he goes to a website, for example, 80s for all, uh, must understand from the design where he or she is. So it's good to have a separate design. So I see also a question by Andrea about the national contacts. As you have seen, I go a little bit backwards to the list of national contacts, and you see that we miss some countries. One is Austria, and Andrea was kindly took initiative to stimulate an appropriate body in Austria to take contact with me, but until now I got no contact, just to answer your question. I have also to remark to say that Katrine De Konings from ESPD helped to find the two national contacts. One is Ireland, and the second one is Luxembourg. So if anybody knows about people from the other relevant institution from the other countries, we will happy to consider. We didn't have any contact from Bulgaria until now. Okay, I think there is a question by Mats.
Yes, can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
Okay. Well, my comment really is just that to confirm what you say and what Lindsay also supports is that my impression is from using the 80s for All portal so far is that it's a bit unstable and shaky still. So it's quite important that they stabilize their system there, because as it is now, it looks rather unstable.
Could I just ask about that, because I've seen the emails about it not working very well, and I wondered if it was there was going to be a fix before I had a go with it. Does anyone know?
Yes, thank you for this point. Yes, it is still a little unstable, and I was told that they are working to fix, but I don't have any deadline. However, although it is unstable, it works. I mean, at the end of the day. So I really invite everybody to visit sometimes the 80s for All portal and to post comments. I think even if you think the comment is just too simple for an academic discussion, I think it's good to have this your comment. So I mean, is a political sign of goodwill towards the other networks, but also is a test of the system. I see also Tura's question about the link from the Easting page to the community. Yes, I fully agree that we have to find a short name that is make people understand that is going to not to a general community on assistive technology, but on the community on ICT, assistive technology. So I mean, the general principle is that maybe let's think that in the future there will be another community of, let's say, mobility and the sitting devices. It could be another community that links at the same way. So the link could be, for example, something like communities, and then you select which community inside that. But I think it's a good point, the one by Tura, we will take into account. I was wondering if Jean, if you can hear us well, if you want to add some information on how the validation exercise is proceeding. I can't hear anything by Jean. However, I think she was very clear in her emails. Okay, probably she can't hear us. Okay. Well, is there any other colleague who wants to add something? I was wondering, for example, Stefania, if you have some progress update about how your system is going to be plugged in.
Yes. 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 Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, good. Yes, Renzo, we are, as you know, we have contacted Valerio to understand better how to map our the information currently available in our database in SD Quadro. And how to link this against the ECF framework and ISO classification. And after the discussion and the further understanding, we are now implementing the, let's say, the mapping of the ECF framework within our database. So basically, we are labeling all our editors depending on their field of, let's say, expertise and software production against the ICF classification. So this, in our view, is, let's say, the most challenging aspect of the web service implementation. And we plan to finalize this stage mid of May. And then, in parallel, of course, we are also working on the other elements of the implementation of the web services. So the plan is to have a first version of the web services for testing by mid-June latest, depending on how long it takes the implementation of the, let's say, the ECF framework into our database.
Okay, thank you very much, Stefania. So may I ask also to Taxiarchis, what is the status of the web services from the OEG? I'm wondering if Taxiarchis, you want to tell something about how is proceeding the implementation of the web service from OEG.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. I have already built the service according to the specifications that I was sent by Valerio and Andrea. But now we are doing some testing in order to be fully compatible with the system. It's just some technical details that we are arranging, so I'm not sure if there is any need of explaining what exactly is going on in this consortium.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. May I ask also to Mats about the progress of old soft implementation of web services?
Yes, we have in principle solved the technical connection, but there is still quite some work to do to map the different the labeling of different pieces of software in the OatSoft portal. We'll hope to do that within the within May. It might drag along a bit into June, but hopefully we will be there at least before the summer.
Okay, so thank you to everybody, and you know, we are in close contacts with Valerio, who is able to look after you in a very personalized way to help solve all the problems, also not only technical problems, but also the contents conversion, that sometimes that is the problem. Okay. In the meanwhile, I've seen in the chat that Jeanne has given information about the validation, and she says that she's thanking everybody for using the upload tool, and the validation of the search interface is going on, and in a week there will be another batch of work about testing the rating tool. Fine. Okay, is any other point, any other question? Okay, I see a question by Zhang in the chat. She's asking how is proceeding validation at ISDLF and Technalia. Maybe I wonder if Evertian, do you want to report on how is proceeding the validation?
Yes, hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Yes, we are one of those 4 centers doing the validation of the interface, and it's actually quite a big job. There's a task list provided with by Jean and the team in Maastricht, together with a list of inclusion and exclusion criteria and target audience members that we want to involve in the pilot or in the validation exercise. This is we are translating that. It's almost done, so we can give people the instructions, and also they can perform the work and the search in their own language, in Italian in our case. And the idea is to do that in groups of 2 people, so that we can sort of co-search and co-explore the portal. It involves people with disabilities and carers. It involves professionals that are looking for information on products, and it involves policymakers. And the idea is that altogether this leads to, if I remember well, a database of 50 people that have been involved more or less in the validation of the portal. The whole thing has to be finished by, there was talk about the first week of May. I'm not sure whether we are really going to meet that, but at least towards mid-May or 20th of May, we trust we will be at a very good point with everything, at least here in IOS.
Okay, thank you very much. I've seen some questions about Andrea, about the reset functions, so we will take note of that. Yeah. Fine. So if there is no other questions or remark, I was wondering if Valerio has to add something about how overall the providers type A are working. If you think that we have good expectation that most of them will be plugged in before June or not.
Can you hear me?
Yes, but it's very far away.
Try to speak louder now. I think we are quite in good shape. I think that in close contact with Taxiarchis and with the team at ETNA and also with Matlunda that you see. Just want to repeat that for any kind of need, do not hesitate to contact me. Also, both regarding the content issues, like mapping your data to ETNA datasets, and also regarding any technical issue, if we're ready to do any kind of testing when your web service is ready for that. So I think we are in good shape. And the only EC partner I haven't heard of is HMI. I think nobody is here from HMI. Am I right?
No, there is nobody.
Okay, so I will try to contact them maybe next week.
Yeah.
See where they are.
Okay, and I'm seeing that we also are waiting for some feedback from Spain. Reyes told us when we were in Milano that good news were about to come. So I was wondering if Reyes, you have this good news now. Reyes, can you hear us? Okay. Okay, we see that Reyes is writing. That our system is going to be re-implemented. Okay, so we are expecting something that in the course of this year we can have again in the network also the Spanish system. Great. Just a last point, I want to inform you that the project officer encouraged us to think about participating in a great European event in November. Will be ICT Europe. That is the big convention of the European Digital Agenda. Is going to take place in Vilnius, Lithuania, in November. So we were suggested to think about the possibility of being there with a booth. However, we had a look in the call for applicants, and it seems that the selection criterion for having a booth in this exhibition is also the attractiveness of the booth. And you know, it's not easy to make just a portal attractive when you may have other booths with Star Wars application or virtual reality or whatever else. So probably as ETNA or ISTIN alone, it will make no sense to participate. But I was wondering whether any of your organization is going to be present, maybe putting together more entities. We could think to a more suitable booth for that. So, however, I will send you more information by email, so you can think and inform us about if you have an idea for that. Okay, I think there is no other questions, so we can close our meeting. Thanks to everybody, and thanks for the collaboration that you always give in this project. So, goodbye, and see you next time. I don't know when the next time will be, but we will inform you.
Bye.